Got a little bit of a pre-trip inspection I gotta do. And we started dragging everything out to the garage so we can clean. So I'm gonna be going through the garage this weekend. Wow. But anyway, we gotta get back on this. Morning. Just want to make sure everything's right before they take off. I knocked most of this rust out of here. I messaged a company down in Texas about a week ago. They got back to me and said they don't have any beds right now for me, but they're going to go ahead and get back to me as soon as one comes in, because normally they have a stock of these GM beds for sale, and they're not that expensive. You just got to pay shipping. And he said we get these just regular SLE beds, no problem at all, and they don't even cost that much money. It's the shipping that costs. And I'm going to pull this bed off and actually put a new bed and stuff on it. Oh, you guys wanted to see how that Mother's is working? Look at her truck. See how it's all dry and all that water and stuff has pretty much dried up on it. You don't see any wetness or anything at all. It's real rough. Look at my car. All the water still beaded up on the surface. None of it has dried yet. That's that Mother's ceramic stuff. It won't let the water spots and everything on that car, like like hers is all dried up. And if it wasn't white, you would see that it would have spots and stuff all over it. Where my car, it's still wet from this morning. It never dried up or anything. That ceramic coating. So this has got to go. Got to get their bicycles put in the bed. Get them strapped down. I love those square body Chevys. And of course, they've got, after I detailed this truck inside and out, carpet and everything, after a week of driving, it's all trashed again. Women and children. Women and children. I seen another technician. I just changed his filter 5,000 miles ago. The coolant is still full. Her brakes and rotors and everything need to be done. It's still good. Good morning. Well, half my family's from Arkansas. I can't say half. Like a third of my family's from Arkansas. A third of my family is from Louisiana, and the rest of them are from up here in Michigan. Well, I'm in Illinois, but north or to next to me, Michigan. So same thing here. Yeah, I couldn't have my garage like this. I'm glad this is not my place. It would drive me insane. The joys of being short. Can't ever reach anything. I want all that crap out of the middle right there. I might have to hose it off. See that valve cover that everybody said was going to leak from Dorman? Oh, don't use that Dorman valve cover. Don't use it. Don't use it. Don't use it. It's going to leak. You're going to have to add all this Permatex to it and everything else. Man, that damn thing's been bone dry. Mounted right on there perfectly. No problem at all. Bone dry. No oil consumption now. I might wash it off real quick. Nah, I ain't walking in that. Last time I walked in that stuff next to the house back there, I got 3 bee stings and ended up in the emergency room. Nope, I'll pass. Let's get back under this hood. Check power steering fluid. It's full. Not dirty, looks good. The belt looks good. Look at that. No oil consumption at all now. Oil's exactly where I left it. See? Just that range AFM delete doggle and that valve cover right there. I haven't not had to touch the oil, and it's plumb full. Plumb full. Oh, looks like that power steering line down there is just a little bit moist. I wonder if it's because it's falling off this cap right here and going down to that line, because the cap is a little moist too. I bet you that's what it is. Everything looks good. She got plenty of brakes, but I need to get all these the rotors and drums ripped off of here. Yeah, she's got all that inside. I made sure I checked that last night. She's got a good spare tire on it down there. It's got plenty of tread and stuff on it, and she's got everything tucked back underneath the seat because I just detailed this truck. So the jack and everything is back there. I'd like to get the rest of this crap out of the bed of this thing because it's like... See, this is what women do. They get ready to leave and they just start throwing stuff on top of everything else because they're ready to roll, baby. On top of the twigs, the leaves, and all the junk in the bed of the truck. Checking her over. pre-trip inspection. Let me get that crap out of there. I'm on here right now. What's up? No, you're. What's? Go ahead, answer your question.
Do you remember the Ford thing I got you?
Yeah.
Do you like it?
It's nice. What?
Think you like it more?
Why? It's nice. Why? Why? I mean, I like it, but I have to have a reason to have it somewhere. So if you get something bigger or something else or whatever, I need to know what it is to make sure I have a reason. Where'd you get them at? Were they cheap? Yeah, I'm like hanging them up at my shop. She just got these for me. A little surprise. What, like $5 a piece? Thank you. I'll hang them up in my shop. What's going on, guys? Thanks, dear. I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing. I'm going to get this stuff beat out before you leave. Oh yeah, for sure. Shelby. I gotta get up. I gotta get up in this bed. I found out there's somebody using my channel. Can you? Well, she already went inside. I found out there's somebody using my channel to gain subscribers, and I've spoke about them before, and they have been hiding some of their bias against me in the channel, but pretty much kind of supporting me at the same time, which is kind of weird. Why somebody would talk trash about me but then say they really like me in the same video over and over again. I don't get it. But it's the new thing that was brought to my attention yesterday. They're like, hey, you know, this guy has done several more videos about you. For some reason, he says he really likes you and all your knowledge, but then he turns around and he talks trash about you in the video and like says like snarky things and stuff. It's really weird. I don't understand what that's. It's really weird, man. That's kind of like that. If I say it, I might get in trouble. I don't know. But it's kind of like that new SJW mindset. Oh yeah, you're a nice person. Thank you for doing everything for me, but screw you because you're a Republican or a conservative or a libertarian or whatever. You don't fit my agenda. It's kind of like what, same situation with this guy. Oh, I like him. He's so smart and puts out a lot of good information, but at the same time, this and this. I'm like, wow. What is I don't want to mention the person's name because I don't want to give them any clout. It's not. It's, you know what? It's not. It's not even too effective to me because I almost think it's kind of like flattering at the same time. It's kind of flattering, yeah. Something weird happened. Kind of had like a little premonition the other day. Um, I was on a test drive and I replaced the throttle body in that 2010 Fusion that I just did a video on, where the idle, like the RPM was hunting, and it was just bouncing around. And I pulled the throttle body off on camera and showed you guys what it looked like, and it was all like, it was weird. It was rusted instead of oily. Like the whole inside of the throttle body back was all just a solid sheet of rust. So I cleaned it all out, try to save the customer some money. Um, and it worked for a couple weeks, but then they came back, and I did it for free. I didn't charge the customer. Well, they came back and they were like, it was acting up again, and I ended up having to put a throttle body in it to get it to go away. But it's really, really, really weird that I cleaned it all out and it was working fine, but then ended up having to put a $100 throttle body in it anyway because you can't get back into the pivot points of the butterfly, so you can't really make sure you're getting all the way back into the housing and stuff. So I think from now on what I'm going to do is I'm just, if they're cheap, like thank you, Pete. I think I'm saying it right. Is it Pete or Petey? um, where was I going with that? Lost my train of thought. I think from now on, if it's like a $100 throttle body or something, I'm just going to recommend we replace it, because there's no way that you know 100% that you're getting all that junk out of that throttle body. So that's what it's going to be from now on, is just replacing. And you know, one thing I don't like anyway is I don't like when people stereotype. Now, it might seem wrong when I say this because of how I'm going to say it, but I'm going to say it anyway. I have seen stereotypes play out. I have seen people say, well, don't stereotype people. I have seen them play out more than not. Do I think it's right that we stereotype people? No, I don't. And somebody posted yesterday on my channel to stop trying to show the honest side of technicians, because it's never going to change the way technicians are looked at, because there's too many crooked ones, so you're just wasting your time. You may as well just join the party. I refuse to do that. I am not going to start doing that. That's not something that I'm going to do, or A-Rod's going to do, or any of us. If you can't make money honestly and do a good job for the customer, then you don't need to be in this field. That's just the fact of the matter. And all the hacks that end up watching this channel, all the people that like to take advantage of people, you're the ones that don't need a job. I need to continue doing what I'm doing and trying to set the message, and I'm not going to do that. I'll continue to push the message so people know what's going on out there, so they can protect themselves when they're going to deal with dealerships and independent shops, so they know what being taken advantage of is. There's a guy out there, he's an independent tech, and he's doing a lot of stuff like that right now. From what I've seen lately, it was brought to my attention that that's how he dramatizes his channel, is he clickbaits and makes it seem like all dealerships are bad and he's the only one that can do the work the right way. And it's not. Most of the things that he's saying in his videos, you can tell are lies. You know, another thing I don't like about stereotypes is, even though a lot of times they are correct, a lot of things that people say based on their experiences in life in general, even though I don't like doing it, because there's also a big majority that's wrong. So that's one of the reasons why I don't like stereotyping people, is the premonition I had the other day. Like, if I'm using that word correctly, I think I am. I'm sitting at the light and I'm waiting to make a right turn, and This black SUV pulls up next to me, and I look to my left, and it's a girl of color. It's a black girl. She's sitting there, and she's got that Brooks and Dunn song playing in her SUV. When the sun goes down on my side of town, that lonesome feeling comes to my door. You guys know I don't do karaoke, but she's playing that song and she's jamming out, dude. You can tell she feels good. She's smiling and stuff like that. And you're thinking of the normal person would think, the stereotype would be, why is a black girl listening to that kind of music? You know why? Because she likes that kind of music. That's why. That's why stereotypes don't work. The girl behind me, sunroof wide open, cigarette hanging out of the sunroof, white girl, jamming out to some old 90s hip hop and rap music or whatever, and just having a good time. The family that was behind the girl in the black SUV next to me to the left, windows down, as they passed me, as we're all starting to take off and they all passed me, they were listening to some like 80s hairband music, and it's a Hispanic family. That's why stereotypes don't work. It was like that aha moment for me that was like, you know what? In one of your videos coming up, you need to talk about stereotypes, how it's not cool. Even though a lot of times it can be legit, it's really not cool. Stereotyping technicians and dealerships and independent shops and, you know, your local DIY guy that you trust, your shade tree guy that does good work. It's not okay, you know. Well, the truck's cleaned out. Now I feel comfortable putting everything in here instead of this crap flying all over. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I got that Mac box, a pretty good deal. I can't go into the specifics, but somebody else ordered it, and then they backed out of it when they were going to sign the paperwork, and it became mine. So you probably know I got a really good deal. Trying to Yeah, I mean, it's growing slow right now. I don't know if you noticed. Some of you guys have been here for a while, man. And then all of a sudden the channel just took off. Nobody knew about me for the longest time. And then a couple viral videos, and then people were like, dude, you know how many videos I've watched of yours, and I fixed like all my family's vehicles because of your videos? And I was like, that's what I'm here for, man. Some lady just messaged me from, where's she from? New Jersey? And offered to send me $300 because the dealership wanted, it wasn't very much more than what she was gonna send me, but she said the reason I want to give it to you is because you were honest about the situation and you showed me how to fix it, and I fixed it myself. And I was like, no, I don't want your money. I'm good, man. I'm good. I got you as a subscriber now. I'm gonna make more off of you being a subscriber on my channel and supporting me than I am your money. No, I'll pass. I'm good. Thank you, though. I appreciate you letting me know that you fixed your vehicle. Some dude messaged me on my other channel that I have. I had another channel where I was getting into like nutrition and stuff real big, and I started talking about
weight loss, and I was getting into like medical science and stuff, and I was like literally doing hours and hours and hours of like peer reviewed studied research and stuff like that. But I started getting off on other topics, and the channel started to fall apart a little bit. So I was like, you know what, I need to focus on my automotive stuff instead of getting into all this other stuff as well, because I've been learning a lot over the last like 10-12 years on medical stuff as well, and how certain things, a lot of the same stuff transitions from your vehicles over to your body. A lot of things are sent and received the same way in packets of information. And on the other channel I do have some automotive videos, but very few. And one of the couple ladies, and one dude particular, he was like, dude, I was broke down on the side of the road. I was literally in tears. I was about to use all my money to get towed and get the vehicle fixed and everything. And then I'm scrolling through YouTube while I'm waiting for the tow truck to show up. And I ran across your no start video on the F-150s from 2010, 2009, 2010 to 2014. And I'm sitting there and I can see my wife doing exactly what you said. She's got her foot pressed up against the plastic in the kick panel. She's leaned sideways, frustrated, waiting for the tow truck. And he was like, aha, take your damn foot off the plastic, please. Thanks, wife. Thanks for having us break down the last couple hours while I've been frustrated because you can't keep your feet in the middle of the floor where they belong instead of on the dash or pressing up against everything. So he goes over to the passenger side of the vehicle, opens the door, has her move her feet out of the way, pulls the plastic panel off, and sure enough, she had pushed up against the plastic so much with the way she sits, kind of lazy like in the seat, she had pressed the body control module connector away from the body control module, and the vehicle shut down while they were on the highway. And that's one of the main reasons why those crank no start conditions happen, or almost all the stuff on the dash and stuff goes out as well. And that dude said and this is like the second or third guy in the last couple months that said literally I was in the middle of driving on our vacation and I thought I was screwed, because I've been saving up for this vacation because it's the only thing that we do for ourselves throughout the year. And I was afraid I was going to have to take that money and put it back into getting the truck fixed. But it was as simple as my wife's lazy habit of pressing her feet over into that kick panel area and pushing up against the plastic, and she unsnapped the connector going to the body control module that's back behind the plastic. I'm telling y'all, man, keep your feet off the damn dash. If you got women and children and stuff that do that like to drive around with you, or if there's women that watch this channel and you got husbands or boyfriends that do that stuff, tell them to get their damn feet off the dash. They don't belong on the dash anyway. That's one real good way to put their knees right into their damn chin and have no skull left, or shatter their legs. And then being lazy like that where they want to press up against everything. A kick panel is one thing. It's made for, you know, if you got to move and you kick the side of it or something like that, or you tap it to knock some crap off your shoes or something down there in that scuff plate and then swipe it out of the truck, I get it. But to sit there and press up against it to move your body around and stuff inside the vehicle, that's not what it's for. That's not what it was designed for. So get a hold of your children, get a hold of your loved ones and stuff that ride with you, and tell them to keep their feet off all that stuff. It doesn't belong there, because that's why a lot of people's vehicles are breaking down. I'm going to put this bike in the back of the truck real quick. Mine, she'll do that stuff too, where she starts putting her feet on, you know, and I'm not scared to say, hey, that ain't happening. I love you and everything. You're my girls, but you ain't disrespecting my stuff like that. So take your feet off my, don't be pressing up against anything or yanking and grabbing on stuff. I'm sorry, this is how I am. That's my, that's my money, that's my meal ticket right there. You know, I don't need it broken or destroyed because somebody's being lazy. That's what pays our dinners and our getaways and the repairs for our stuff. Oh, you want nice new stuff, you gotta have that to work. Check lights real quick. It's all starting to fall here. No, it is a 5.3. Morning. Good morning. I'm not gonna go with him. He just ran out just now. She actually just yelled at him. You guys didn't catch it on camera, but we got a 1-year-old lab that's, he's pretty ornery right now. He's been pretty ornery for the last week. Not real bad, because he's trying to figure out what he can get away with. But he's not the kind of dog you want to take on a trip. This is the kind of dog that would end up ruining a trip because of how young he is still and trying to figure out what he can and can't get away with. So I volunteered I said, look, if it's going to be too much, I'll stay home and I'll just hang out and make videos all weekend and stuff because I'm about to be down for 10 days and I won't have the ability to really move around so much. So I'd like to make some really good quality videos this weekend on maybe trying out different products or helping people figure out how to do something. I'll just stay home and I'll stay home with him and I'll give my viewers content and figure out what they want this weekend, and I'll try to respond to a bunch of questions and stuff, and I'll focus on that. So she said, I think that'd be a good idea because he's going to be too much to deal with on our trip and he needs more time. He needs to mature a little bit more. AC's working. Yeah, I'm gonna make sure they're good to go. Locks. Freaking garbage all over the place. I should have the little one come out here and clean up all her garbage in the back of this truck. Tell her to get on it, get it cleaned out. I've asked her to do it I don't know how many times, and She still leaves it all over the place. But I let her do it because she's my boo. But I should get her to come out here and tell her to clean this stuff up. But I don't want to upset them before they go on their trip, because you know how they girls and their emotions and stuff are. They get all emotional over the simplest thing. No, it wasn't the leaf springs. We went out yesterday. And drove it for a little bit. And as we're driving around the parking lot, about 15 minutes into driving, the fluid's getting a little warm, some semi-aggressive braking. I noticed that I could peel back the little sticker on the fifth wheel assembly. This truck is still so new. It still has all the stickers on the holes in the bed for the fifth wheel assembly. So I peeled back the sticker and I stuck my ear right on top of the diff, and it's coming from right in that differential. And then I looked down inside that hole and I could see, as I'm looking through there, and you let off the gas and it starts to downshift by itself, and the pinion starts to pitch down, it'll make that sound. Every time the pinion goes to lay down while you're under moderate braking, or it starts to shift down and the vehicle goes to slow and the pinion starts to rotate forward some, it'll make that sound coming right from the differential. But if you're going to reverse, it won't. Or if you're backing up braking, it won't. It's only when you're going in forward and the rear end has some kind of load on it. So I'm going to have to get into that rear end. It's not the leaf spring pack, it wasn't the brakes, it's inside that rear end. It's one of them bearings or something in the rear end is doing that. No, the diff fluid's good. Hey, Joe. Diff fluid's good. No, I don't like E85. I've seen a lot of race cars come in that use E85 and they don't pickle it. They don't run the regular fuel through there and get it all cleaned out. But I've seen a lot of buildup on valves and stuff because of E85. And it's not so much E85 itself that's bad, it's what's in E85. And I got to do more research on it. I don't understand it exactly. It's not E85. It's not the alcohol itself or the ethanol itself. It's a... what the hell do you call it? There's like certain chemicals and stuff that are in it that make it bad. And if you take like a E85 vehicle, I think this is a flex fuel. I'm not sure. No, this one's not flex fuel. And mine's not flex fuel, thank God. But if you take a flex fuel vehicle and you run it for a week on E85, you might get 200, 225 miles to a tank. But the following week, if you run like 89 or 87, you end up getting like 300 miles to a tank. You get better fuel mileage with regular fuel, and it performs better. And I have this argument with people all the time, and I don't know why people like to argue about stuff that it doesn't make any sense. It's but if you take 1 unit of 93 versus 1 unit of E85, the 93 has a higher BTU rating than the E85 does. So that 1 unit of 93 has the potential by a greater scale to make so much more power than E85 does, but the problem is E85 is not as volatile. It keeps the cylinder cooler so you can run more of it, which, being able to run more of it, you end up getting more power out of it. It's not that it's better for the vehicle. It's not that it can produce more per unit than any other fuel does. It's the fact that you can run more of it because of its cooling capability, and you can almost double up on fuel. It's really not that great of a fuel. Just guys like to use it in race cars and stuff like that because of boost. And if they're running excessive amount of boost, or high amount of boost. I'm sorry, I don't want to get you right up in my face, but I'm trying to get situated here. If you're running a high level of boost with E85, you can run your fuel pressure up higher, your fuel volume up greater, whatever the hell they do, and you can make more power. But you can't do that with 93. You can't do that with 87 or 91. E85 you can do it with. Yeah, it lowers the chance of detonation, and it cools the cylinders as well, so it has the natural cooling effect. And it does make more power because you can run more of it, but it is not more volatile. Per unit, it is not the most powerful fuel. That's why them drag cars and stuff, what do they run? 100 octane, 100 and something octane airplane fuel. But they have to have the octane level. A lot of people think that the higher the number is, the better your car is going to perform, but that's not true either. It's the octane rating is the resistance to burn. So the higher the number is, the more you got to mess with your timing and the compression ratio of the motor. So I run 93 in mine, but I run a program that's retuned the PCM timing wise to be able to, I'm assuming, I don't know the gist of it, how the program works, but I'm assuming it runs it a little hotter and it advances the timing a little bit to run with the 93, if I remember reading correctly, is what the program does. Really, compression wise, 93 doesn't do anything in this vehicle until you start messing with the timing. Now if I had like a 10.5 to 1 compression motor or something, which these 4.6 2 valves, 93 it's a waste of money in them until you start playing with timing, and then you might only get like 10 horsepower out of it or something, 10-15 horsepower. And that's what I did with this, just to get a little bit more power out of it. And I ran that SCTX4 Crown Vic 93 octane tune in it. It's only certain cases the 85 is better, but it's only when you're after performance because of boost is the only time the 85 that I know of is going to come into play as a better fuel. Outside of that, I don't see the benefit in the 85. It's going to cost you just as much, if not more, to run it, because you're going to have to fill up your tank more often with it, and it doesn't cause your power to go up at all, zero, unless you're running some kind of boost, and then you can mess with your fuel pressure and stuff. But that's the only way I can see it. What is it? In the STI, it's way faster as you can run more timing. It's cheaper to run versus premium. It cleans the valves and pistons, at least on non-direct injection engines. Cleans? I've heard guys having to pickle their engines because of the soot buildup because of the 85. It's cheaper. It's not actually cheaper. Cheaper by the sign on the machine, sure. Cheaper on your pocket when you're first filling up. But in the long run, if you run the 85 for a week versus like 91 for a week, 91 will actually give you more miles and be close, if not substantially cheaper than E85 in the long run. It's only cheaper at the time whenever you're filling up. That's it, because you feel it in your pocket. But overall, mile wise, when you're comparing to how many miles you put on the vehicle versus how much you spent, it's not cheaper.
Inside my truck.
Hey, babe. No. Using E85 doesn't save the world. Puts more money in the corporations and the oil companies' pockets, or whatever organizations work with the farmers. And I don't have a problem with working with the farmers, but at the same time, let's just be real here. It's a money-making tool. Yeah, timing. Again, you're having to mitigate timing to make it work. I get it, guys. I 100% get it. More timing means hotter. E85 means cooler, but it doesn't mean that it's cleaner or better. No, we had one Mustang Mach-E and it sold right away. There was some kind of like reprogram that we had to go through on it. I guess some recall or reprogram came down from Ford, so it got reprogrammed and that was it. It sold, and that's just that. And we haven't touched them. We had to, because we sell the Mach-E now. You have to have a charger outside the vehicle, or not outside the vehicle, outside the location. So on the wall outside by the parts entrance, they had to have a technician come in and install the chargers for the electrical systems, like on the, what was it, not just the Mach-E, but you had to have it for some of the other electric cars that you could plug in, like some of the C-Maxes that had the charger or something under the seat where you can plug it in at home, or you can drive it and charge it, something to that extent. So there's some kind of rule that Ford put in place and said if you're going to sell electric vehicles, you need to have charge stations outside the dealership. So they had to have somebody come in and do that. We did that testing it when we were in school. We had an E85 Taurus, and they ran it for a week, and it got right at like 220 miles that week, and then they had to fill up again. And the second tank that they ran 87 or 89 or something like that, and they ended up getting like almost 60 to 80 more miles or something to a tank, just off stopping, to stop running the 85. And what do you save? In the long run, if you keep adding it up, I think what it came out to is you save a couple dollars using regular fuel than E85. It's just at the time you save at, the pump, your pocket wise, and what you're putting out when you're filling up. So yeah, you see those numbers go down. Instead of me running 93, spending $64 to fill up the car, because 93 is over $4 a gallon here, you end up paying, if I was running the 85 or something like that, I could almost save 93 versus the 85, probably half that at the time, because 93 is so high. But if I took the tune out of it and put it back to stock, I wouldn't be really saving that much. I would actually lose money running E85 if this was the E85 Panther. Yeah, maybe for situations like that, water in the bottom, the 85 sucking up the water, I could see that being a benefit to it. Like if you're trying to clean something out, get the water out of it. But I don't like running that crap. I like compression. I mean, honestly, I like the 462 valve. I like the fact that it runs pretty clean overall, and I'm really happy with it. But there is, just like they say, unless you're adding boost, there is, if you just took a stock motor with no power adders versus a one stock motor low compression versus a higher compression motor with higher displacement, there's the reason that old saying comes into play. There's no replacement for displacement, because it's true. It's true until you start bringing power adders into the equation, and then it kind of falls by the wayside unless you're adding power adders to displacement, and then it becomes true again. So, you know, if you're going to run 12 pounds of boost through a big block versus 12 pounds of boost through a small block, there's always that argument as well, because a lot of the guys that like small block motors tear up the big block guys because of how they rev out and how they are with their power band. But if you notice, you get more potential power out of the big block, and it can take more, because look at those look at all the rail car guys that are running 3, 4, 5, 6,000, 10,000 horsepower setups. They're not running small blocks. They can't take what they do to those motors. You know, my ex service manager, he's got a small block, 400 and some cubic inch small block twin turbo Fox body Mustang, 1700 horsepower, fully race built motor. But then the one that the vehicle that he has that destroys that one is like an 88 Mustang GT twin turbo big block that makes like 2800 horsepower, and it's night and day. It's completely different vehicles. They ride completely different. The small block is scary, but the big block, it's so damn scary, you got to have a professional run that car, or else you will kill yourself. So he has to have somebody run both cars for him, because they're just too damn fast for him. He has to have somebody that's experienced enough to run those cars. Morning, Jigsaw. I don't know. You know, the biodiesel versus regular diesel, I don't get into a lot of that stuff. I know a lot of guys like biodiesel. I had a guy come buy an F350 from me a few years ago. I bought it at auction. It was one of the older ones. It was like a 94, 95 F350, and had been sitting outside of a barn. They did like an estate sale, and they said it didn't run. And I said, okay, that's fine. I know enough about these to where I'll be the deciding factor on whether or not this truck runs. And I had my buddy come by with his big old, at the time he had a 95 or 96 F350, but it had a Cummins swap. And he came by in his big old gooseneck trailer, and he picked up that F350 for me. And it was that old maroon color that had like the maroon body, but it had all the wood paneling down the side, and then it had all the wood engravings and stuff in the dash, and the panels and stuff in the dash, and it was set up as a long haul truck. It had the extra lights and flares and the skirt tassels and stuff behind the tires and stuff in the back. The truck was all decked out, and they just said it didn't run. When the old man died, they were just ready to get rid of everything, and nobody was bidding on the truck. So it got down to like $600-700, and nobody was still bidding on the truck. So I'm standing out there, and it's one of my first auctions. I'm green. I still don't. I said $300. I raised my hand. I said $300. They said $300 to start here. 300, 303, or 325, 325. Going like this. Guys are going full or half or quarter or something like that, and they're looking at people in the audience. And it's a guy over here. He goes like this, 350. So I said that's 350, 375, 375. I said 375. So nobody would bid against me because they didn't know anything about this truck. Really, had been covered in like some kind of mossy looking stuff and everything else. I ended up picking that truck up for no money at all and towed it back to my place on the farm I was living at, and I power washed it all off. Found out it was about 4 quarts low on transmission fluid, so I filled it up with transmission fluid, put the rest of the bolts in the trans pan, changed the oil and stuff in it. Had to crank the hell out of it with good batteries to get it to actually fire. Finally it fired, and once I got it fired up, it was acting like it didn't want to break. And I noticed that the pulley on the front of the vacuum pump was broke on that F350. So I ended up ordering a new vacuum pump and pulley assembly for it, put a new vacuum pump and stuff on it, fired that thing up, and we're driving around the property just like it was brand new. Freaking thing ran great. Dual tanks, 5th wheel setup in the back, Mind you, I paid $375 for this F350. Ran great. So I said, you know what, I'm going to turn this one. I'm not even going to put it in my name. I'm just going to turn it. So immediately, I put it on the internet for sale, and some guy came from Ohio, and he runs a biodiesel truck, and he drove that F350. It was like a 96 or 97 model, out from Ohio. Some old man with a big old long white beard, looked like Santa Claus, but a little bit skinnier version of Santa Claus. And he pulls up some big old gooseneck trailer and stuff on my property, and it's just gorgeous looking truck. And we load the truck up and stuff. I sold that truck for $4,000. Within a couple weeks, I had it sold. I mean, I bought it for $375. I had, you know, $400 in parts in it. Turned around and sold it for $4,000. Just an old truck. You know, it was, you could find them in that kind of condition all over the place, $3,000 to $5,000. So I thought, with it running, still needed some work, but not too much. $4,000 was a fair price because it wasn't in good condition, because it still had a lot of dirt and stuff all over it, and the interior was stained from people working in and out of the truck. The guy came and bought it. He didn't even haggle with me. Paid $4,000 for it, put it on his trailer, and then afterwards he got on his trailer and everything strapped down. He said, I'm actually a Power Stroke IDI collector or whatever. I have Power Strokes, I have IDIs, and he said I have some of the pre stuff, like back in the late 70s, the mid 80s. And he said, what I'll do is I'll go around to all these restaurants and I'll ask for their used cooking oil, their fryer oil, and when they're about ready to dump it and have somebody come pull it all, I'll take it, and I'll take it back to my place, and I'll triple filter it through a system that I have with pumps, and I run that in these trucks. I don't even go buy diesel. He said, I make my own fuel right here at home. I have several tanks outside that I just fill up, and I filter all the stuff out of it, and I'll run it through these trucks. And that's how he makes his own fuel. And he said they love it. They run great. Never have any problems with it. Never breaking down. No, nothing like that. Yeah, we were talking about the Maverick yesterday. The Maverick, the new Maverick. They want to. One of my friends actually wants to try to find one. He's already set on buying it. He said he was out working. He's a truck driver. He was out working. He passed by a dealership, and they had one sitting out front of the dealership, and everybody's standing there looking at it. So he said it's one of those. He said it's a lot taller than what I thought it was. He said I thought it was going to be a lot shorter, and he's a big boy. He's a tall guy, and he's big, burly bear. And he said, I think I might be all right in that truck, because I was skeptical at first, but after seeing it in person, he said, I think I might be all right. It's a little bit longer than I thought, and it's a little bit taller than I thought. So he said, I think I'm actually going to go look at one and probably just pay cash for it. No payments or anything. Oh, yeah, for sure. That's what he said, too. For the price and the miles to the gallon that they're getting, how could you not even consider buying a Maverick? Even if the damn thing had all kinds of problems and stuff like that, at $20,000, with it being ironed out and being under warranty, it's already paid for itself. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I said until it comes to power adders, there's no replacement for displacement until it comes to power adders. And then you can't talk about there's no replacement for displacement, because you're adding power, cramming more air into something and more fuel to get it to perform more. So that's why the argument kind of falls by the wayside. But then when you go to bigger displacement and then power adder a bigger displacement, you go back to the original thought of there's no replacement for displacement. It's the same concept all over again, and that's why it's a what do you call it, a never-ending argument, because it can be argued either way. And what was it, Rock Your World said used to just add a bottle of methylated spirits to the tank to get rid of water. What did people? Didn't they used to dump alcohol in there as well? Didn't they just take a bottle of like 99% rubbing alcohol or something like that and dump it in their tank, and they would get rid of water that way? Yeah. So far we got a bunch of Broncos sports in. We got a bunch of Broncos in, and a couple new other vehicles, F-150s and stuff in it. It just came out of nowhere, man. They just started showing up out of nowhere, and I was like, what the heck is this? There's bigger dealers than us in our area that aren't getting the vehicles that we're getting right now. So I wonder what happened. Oh, it is out. Well, I don't know. I don't know what people call things anymore. I know there's certain names that people call things. Alcohol. Alcohol. I don't know if these ladies. Yeah, I know people love that heat stuff too, because around here, especially up here in Illinois, right around wintertime, you notice it starts disappearing on the shelves. People start buying that crap like crazy, and then you can't even find it for a while until they start keeping up with stock. I remember a few years ago, it was real bad whenever it started dropping down to like -30, -40 with the windshield and stuff like that. You couldn't find that stuff on the shelf. People would just dump bottles and bottles and stuff into their fuel tank here, and it would just. Hey, who's mom talking to on the phone back there?
What?
Who's mom talking to on the phone back there?
She's not talking to me on the phone. She's talking to me.
Oh, I hear somebody out in the backyard talking really loud, so that must be our neighbors. They must want everybody to know their business. No, it still makes that sound. It ain't. You're not gonna get rid of that sound. You're stuck with it, unfortunately. People are gonna continue having issues with it, and they're just how it's gonna be. It still makes the sound. Hey, watch that street. Before you take off on that skateboard, I want you looking at this. Oh, you're putting it away? Okay, you scare me sometimes on that thing.
And kiss me.
So the update on the neighbor's dog is I was over there, and the dogs came out, and I let our dogs out. And I seen that black German Shepherd of theirs. He's a smaller version of a full-size German Shepherd. He put his head through the fence, and my dog was just inches away from grabbing his face. And we got him back inside, and once we got him back inside, I went over there and I just said, I'm just going to tell the neighbors exactly what's on my mind and whatever all the other neighbors are saying. So I went over there and I said, look, your dog has pushed the fence away again, and I'm going to have to go over there and fix it. And I'm just going to be straight with you. Over the last couple of weeks, it's been pretty unbearable. We can't even come out here and eat dinner with our families. The neighbors can't eat dinner with their families. These dogs sit out here and they bark and they bark and they bark and they bark. And one of the neighbors actually called the cops recently because of it. Now, I'd rather come over here and have a conversation with you than have to call the cops again because our dogs are tearing each other apart in the backyard. This has got to stop. You know, I'm trying to be nice and I'm trying to be civil about it. That's why I'm here talking. This can't keep going on. All the neighbors are saying stuff about it, but they won't come over here and say anything to you. Well, I'm here and I'm letting you know what's being talked about behind your back, and I don't want it to be behind your back. We need to get this under control, because every weekend, every evening when we're out here with our families and stuff trying to eat dinner on a cool day on the deck, we can't even enjoy ourselves talk because your dogs are here all the time just barking, barking, barking. And she said, yeah, I knew this was going to be a problem. And she said, I do appreciate you coming and talking to me about this, and I will put a stop to it. Just nobody has ever come and talked to us about it. And maybe this is the kick in my butt to get me to nip it in the bud. So I will be more conscious of that. I will let the dogs out for like an hour or two in the morning, let them run around, and then I'll pull them back in so you can give your dogs a chance. And then we'll just be watch for each other on the back porch. If your light's on, I won't let the dogs out. If your light's off, I'll let the dogs out. And then we can help each other out that way so that there's no problem, and I'll get control of it. And it's been quiet ever since. All week, it's been completely quiet. It's been a nice relationship back and forth, and all it took was just a simple conversation. So that's what happened with the dogs. Sad to see the F-150 diesel engine option being killed off later this year. I didn't hear anything about the Ford Edge, but I figured the diesel option in the F-150 was going to be killed off. There's nobody buying it. Nobody even tries to order it. Well, these ladies are, they're getting ready to leave. I see them put their pillows and everything in the truck now. I'm going to try to help them get their last minute stuff tied up and get them out of here. And then later on this evening, we'll jump back on here again and we'll talk. I want to go over my viral video and some of the interesting comments I've got on my viral video and have a little laugh about it. We'll do that this evening though. Yeah, so I'm going to say, when I have a dog issue, I'll call my Ford mechanic. It just took a conversation. I just think people are scared to talk to other people, and it's just simply conversing, talking about what's going on and how we can fix the problem without getting people in trouble and causing a bigger issue is all it took. And it's been completely fine. That's all it took. And she was completely understanding. Okay, guys, I'm going to jump off here for a while, and then I'll see y'all later tonight, and then we can talk tonight. Appreciate y'all. Thank you as always, and make sure these ladies get out of here safely. Y'all be blessed.